Welcome back and many thanks for joining us again on the program Good Morning Abuja, and it is coming to you from NTA Channel 5. Yes, it's been from one discussion to another, and right about now we are going to discuss a very interesting topic with our in-house friend. Help us welcome Engineer Abayomi Onosoya. He is the Global Director Africa House to the program. Engineer, you're welcome to the
Thank you for
program.
having
Good
me.
morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
And today we are going to talk about the public service, the way forward, what we need to do to work very well, efficiently in the public service. Yes. Let's start from there. What does it take to work very well, efficiently when we talk about public service?
All right, thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Abuja. Um, Before we delve into this, we need to understand the term itself, public service. That means you are serving the
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 public,
public.
public.
or shall I say, a group of people mandated to serve the public. So the answer to your question lies in that definition. Our goal, or shall I say, the number one goal of anyone who finds him or herself in that particular sphere must understand firstly that I'm here to serve
The
the
public.
public. And as a result, sacrifice comes with service. Just like our gallant men and women of the military, they sign up to defend the nation. So they know we're doing this service, not necessarily for the rewards, but to serve the nation. So as a result, also, we in the public service, we're here to serve the interest of our nation first before any other thing now follows. So this is one of the fundamental facts that we must face as a nation and as a people. Having defined what public service is, we must now say, okay, fine, how can I, as an individual, serve my nation in this particular duty that I'm assigned to? Either you're a teacher or you're a broadcaster in the media. The first goal is how can I do my job effectively that would then result in serving the nation as it were. So this is the interesting part about the public service. It's a very, very heavy word. We often take it for, with levity, like, public service, I'm a civil servant. But do you really serve the public? Do you really serve the nation? These are the key questions that must come to bear when we start asking all these questions. As we proceed today, we'll begin to analyze what it takes to be a civil servant, what are the things we are doing wrong, how can we, change the rhetoric to build a nation in Nigeria that we all can be proud of, and a country whereby we serve with all our might, just like in our anthem, you see. So these are the things we'll talk about today as we proceed.
Okay.
Okay, so now talking about doing the right thing. I mean, this is, you agree with me that it begins with you and I doing the right thing. And whenever you say public service or public servant or civil servant, people have this, no be government worker, no be government office, they have
Is it
this,
my father's job?
yes, just do it anyhow. What is that one thing or one way you think we can use in correcting that mentality?
Well, that's a fantastic question because, see, why people often see the public service or public servants in that notion is because of the lack of the inefficiency they've experienced whilst trying to get service from them or from the MDAs. You see, for example, let's say, this morning, just this morning, we are just discussing before we came on here that we had this traffic from that Maritama axis and whatnot. And in the mind of an average Nigerian, what are these public servants do in terms of the people on the road, like the DRTS and the other agencies charged with it? So people have this, but they've had several, layers of disappointments in the past that makes people believe that, what, these civil servants, these people are just there to be a nuisance, and it shouldn't be that way. And that's why we're here today to try to highlight ways where we can improve the public service and also improve the confidence of Nigerians in the public service. And not to make this mistake that this only happens in Nigeria. No, if you go to the US, people have the same mentality when it comes to the public service. Like, it's government work. I'm not going to stress myself. You queue for 2 hours or you apply for. So it's all over the place. It's not a problem unique to Nigeria.
Now, you talk about sacrifice. Yes, it is agreed that when everything is public, people won't give in their best. Now, what do you think is the best method that we can use to ensure that we serve as a public in the public offices and the people we are serving receive the best services?
All right. The simple answer to that is efficiency.
Okay.
We need to ensure that every public service that we set up, we need to have benchmarks, efficiency benchmarks, or shall I say, result based indices. We need to ensure that, let's say, if someone is applying for a particular permit, the organization, or shall I say, the public service should say that this service should be accessed or should be done within 24 hours. Rather than going back and forth to the secretariat and then you spend weeks, months doing things that you could do in 2 hours. So we have to ensure that we put systems in place to grade ourselves in terms of how well are we doing in serving the people. Like if you go to places like the Emirates, the UAE, you discover that they've set up systems such a way that if you're applying for a particular thing, you should not spend more than certain number of hours or certain number of days. Beyond that, that public servant is queried. Like, why is this application, why is this file taking so long? And then if that repeats itself, that person will end up being fired. So we need to have systems
Very
of checks and
good.
balances to show that, you know what, if I'm a police officer, I should ensure I investigate my cases within 2 weeks. If I'm a media guy, I ensure that all my programs are flawless. If I'm a teacher, I should ensure that all my students should have a pass rate of 70 or 80% minimum. So that way we are able to benchmark and say, you know what, we've done well or we're not doing well. So with this, people have confidence to say, yes, these people are doing well. You see, create systems that takes care of itself automatically, like our maintenance cost and all that. And then to the political side, whilst being careful.
I think before we get to the political side, because I know you are going to talk much, let's break this discussion. We'll go on this quick break. When we come back, you talk to us about the political aspect. Yes, we have been talking about the public service, the way forward, how we can serve the public that we are representing here, with our in-house friend that is analyzing the topic for us, Engineer Abayomi. We're going to go on this quick break. When we come back, the program continues. Welcome back, and we are still here talking about the public service and the way forward. Yes, engineer, before we went on that break, you were talking about so many factors and you're bringing in the political aspect of it. So take it from there.
All right, thank you very much. See, in the political scene, we must understand that politicians, like you and I, we are public servants too. We're here to serve. And before I analyze this, let's go back to the basic unit of the family. Who is a servant? A servant is someone who sacrifices to please the master. And who's the master in this case? Nigeria is the master. We, the people, are the master. And we, the servants, are supposed to do things to please our nation so that we can all grow as a nation. So we must always remember that we are here to serve the people, which basically means sacrifices. And we must get rid of excesses. Funny enough, like I said, like I had ambitions a few years back. And one of the things that I said that I would do if God puts me in position is number one, I will ensure that as a civil servant, I will remove excesses, which basically involves if you're a politician, I will give you a car. I won't give you a fleet of cars. I'll give you a very good car. And at the end of your tenure, the car belongs to the government. You return it because you've done your service. I'm done and return it. It's just like a civil servant. They give you an official car. Like NTA, you go to cover events. The cameraman drives to let's say go Canada to cover an event. When he leaves NTA, does he go with the car to say, oh, because I used the car for 6 years while in NTA Abuja, so this car is mine? No, you return it to the next guy who will come after you to use the car. The same yardstick should be applied to civil servants and the political servants as well. That's number one. Number two, I also said that in terms of like accommodation, for example, I'll give an accommodation where you stay. during your service.
Mm.
Once you're done, you hand over the keys, you go. I won't give you furniture allowances because the furniture belongs to the government. This belongs to NTA. I won't say because I'm sitting here now, I'm going to carry this and go home because, well, I've spoken for 10 days, so this chair belongs to me. No. So all those things we need to understand. We are public servants. There's supposed to be sacrifices. And what will happen if we do all these things is that public service will now attract people with genuine hearts to serve.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going there for the luxury. We need intellectuals. Intellectuals are attracted by the willingness to serve, the sacrifice. If I'm serving Nigeria, I will dedicate the 4 years of my life or your life to serve that country, make laws, not because of what I can get, not because I want to have a phone worth $1 million or whatever. So these are the excesses that has to be trimmed out to have a super fantastic public service in the political sphere. We see we're civil servants, not civil masters.
Well, no wonder he
I
says
love that. Super fantastic.
fantastic. No wonder he says it's a sacrifice.
Mhm.
Did you get to hear
Oh, yes, I did.
all what he outlined? That if by God's grace he's there, it's a very
When by
good
the grace of God.
By God's
by
grace.
God's grace.
So now, this brings me to be the change that you want to see.
So,
Just before we go, the viewers are watching. What word of advice do you have to tell all of us? Because whether we like it or not, it's you and I. We are the change, or we must be the change that we want to see. So please give us the word of advice.
and as you're adding the advice, please add this. What other things you think we need to adopt? Other systems that we need to adopt to make our public services or
Better.
offices work?
All right. Before I give the advice, I will answer that question. That's a good one. See, some of the things we need to do, like I said, is cut excesses. As it stands in Nigeria, we're spending 5 trillion to pay salaries of civil servants. And these civil servants are less than a million. A country of 200 million, just less than a million, they're getting 5 trillion, and our total budget is 20 trillion. So we're spending about one fourth of all our money just to pay civil servants, and people are not actually happy with the service they are getting. So what's my point here? My point here is we need to ensure that we do not overemploy. You go to certain ministries, some people's jobs are just to carry file from table one to table two. I'm not saying that government shouldn't employ people. Employ people, but employ just what you need. And what stops us from having a very efficient, robust system that I'm not saying 720,000 is too much. No. I'm saying employ just the right number of people and at the same time create entrepreneurial mindset in the mind of Nigerians. We do not have to always get jobs with government. No.
Exactly.
You should graduate from school and say, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur rather than looking for a job to work in NTA or work in whatever. So that's the answer to that. And then advice to Nigerians. See, Nigerians, this is the only country we have. Nigeria is our home. My father would say, the way you lay your bed is how you will sleep on it. If we don't serve Nigeria with the sacrifice, with the sacrificial heart, we will keep complaining, we'll keep repeating the cycle of, the public service sucks and there's nothing we can do. Please, you are here to serve the people. You're a public servant. Serve with all your heart, serve with a heart of sacrifice. You're not a civil master. The government or the Nigerian people, they were not here to serve you. Rather, you are there to serve. If you cannot let other people come in who really have this patriotic heart, patriotic mindset to serve the nation, let us love our nation. Let us sacrifice, even if it means taking a salary cut. Let's serve our nation. And if you serve Nigeria, we'll have that fantastic nation where all of us will be proud of, and our children will remember us. They would even make monuments in our name to say, Inamdi Azikwe, Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, because you can become such heroes, but you won't become an hero if you don't sacrifice. People remind you as the guy who stole money, who cheated, and then robbed the nation of his future. Let us serve Nigeria. Nigeria is our country. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Amen.
This is really awesome.
Yes.
This prayer is just timely, very timely.
Thank
We
you
say
so
big
much.
amen to
Thank
that.
you so much for this information.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the studio. You've really spoken to all of us. And this reminds me, or this is a question to all of us. What will you be remembered for? Yes, the program is still Good Morning Abuja. We have been speaking with Engineer Abayomi Onosoya, Global Director, African House, and we've been talking about public service, the way forward.